Get cash for clothes at Plato's Closet in North Charleston and West Ashley. It's so easy. Recycle, earn cash, repeat. We pay cash on the spot for your trendy, gently used clothing, shoes, and accessories. At Plato's Closet, we buy all seasons, all day, every day. It's time to clean out your closet and cash in. Bring in your denim, graphic tees, athletic wear, shoes, handbags, and more. Sell your styles to Plato's Closet for cash. Then, do it again. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
Now, Podcast One brings you Spike's Car Radio, a downloadable cars and coffee, hosted by writer, comedian, and automotive enthusiast, Spike Ferriston. Now, here's Spike.
We had a great show last week, Zuckerman. We had our guest cancel, and the fans, as I expected them to do, really just enjoyed us chit-chatting. We called up Matt Farah last week and kind of just improvised an hour and answered a lot of questions, took some phone calls. You know, that's what, not that I'm going to give them what they want, our fans, but I thought we'd do the same thing this week and invite our friend Tommy Kendall in, and here he is. Hi, Tommy.
Hello. Now, does that mean I'm not supposed to say anything because they don't like to hear your guests, or how does that work?
No,
you're not really a guest.
It just means, I think the three of us will just chit-chat for the next hour about a variety of subjects without doing a hardcore interview of Tommy Kendall.
Love it.
All right? Though I will read from your Wikipedia page right there if you don't know who Tommy Kendall is. He's an American race car driver and television broadcaster, best known for his IMSA GT Championship and SCCA Trans Am Series career. That's about sums it up, right? That's all we need to know about you?
That's plenty.
Do you know, there is... we see each other all the time at these Porsche events. Are you an ambassador of Porsche?
No, I have no. I hosted the one thing at the Peterson.
Right.
It's funny because my whole racing career was with other people, but my introduction to cars was through Porsches with my dad back long before I drove my first race car. So I've had very little to do with Porsche officially. But.
So then how do you? So they just called you up to moderate that deal, and
yep,
that was a good panel. We had Pat Dempsey, myself. Klaus von Bülow. Who's the
Von Count?
the guy from Porsche? I think I recall.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think I recall asking him for a GT2 RS or a Speedster allocation in front of the audience, and he said no. He didn't even like the joke that I was making.
Yeah, that's a sore subject. I mean, I think that's their biggest nightmares with all these companies with those cars. That like. Mercedes, I do a lot of work with AMG. The Project One, it's just nothing. It's only unhappy people, basically.
They have to lighten up a little bit, the factory on those little panels, all right? Because those panels can be death. They can be death for the audience, and it's the audience who's there to see them. And the way to do that is a little levity, a little lightness, kind of what I like to bring to Monterey up at the Pebble Beach Concours with Jerry. Just
Same.
We love Porsche, we love you, but let us have some fun, right?
Kind of why I get brought into some of those things. I respect it. Very similar. I respect it, but like life's too short. So it's like
laugh a little.
Anyway, I get really excited this morning, Tommy, that you were coming in because there was something about you that I didn't know that I now know. And that has been something I've been thinking about since I moved to L.A., and it was a very big part of my kids' childhood here on the West Side.
I know what's coming, because when you Google my name, 2 things come up.
But I have Googled your name many times, and this did not come up. But this morning, when I saw it, I got so excited. You were the owner of the yellow chicken mobile.
Santa Monica chicken car.
Really?
Yes.
Chicken car.
I knew this guy was a wise guy.
Now, forever.
That's literally a whole hour show, but
it's and it's a Cadillac Eldorado. What is it?
It's actually an Olds 98.
It's an Olds 98 with a
barge.
giant yellow chicken head on it and a tail feather on the rear deck. lid. And forever, when my kids were growing up, we'd go, "There's the chicken mobile." And there have been many nights where I would lay in bed going, who the hell owns this chicken mobile? I would see it parked in different spots in
Everyone
Santa
who has
Monica.
ever seen it wonders who would own that.
It's like the guy that for years in Hollywood was selling his VHS tapes. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Do you remember what was his name?
Dennis Woodruff.
Yeah,
Right.
Dennis Woodruff.
Dennis
That's
Woodruff.
different.
I was driving the chicken car down the Hollywood freeway.
Come on.
He pulled up next to me, and he rolled down the window, and he's yelling, "Come to the Starbucks on Melrose. I can make you money."
Yeah,
He
sure
was
you
trying
can.
I
to
said, "I'm
recruit-
good. I'm good."
Dennis
Yeah.
Woodruff was trying to recruit
Well,
you.
he probably
A
would have
kindred
given you a
spirit.
good note. Put your name on the side of this,
Yes.
and it would really promote your brand because, you know, I started thinking about the episode of Seinfeld we wrote with the Tyson chicken guy. I'm like, what? Yeah, where did this car come from?
Well, the best part about it is how I came to own it. I don't know for sure because I bought it at a police impound auction,
Right.
but I was trying to buy it.
So
Now
it's
that I own it,
You
I
specifically went there for it?
I got tipped off because I was trying to
What
buy
year?
it.
What year
chicken
is
tip.
this?
This is 1997.
There it is, right
Yes,
there.
I've seen
This
it.
is
I've seen it
1990.
forever.
Yeah.
I know it's in nice condition. Look at that
Yeah,
paint.
well,
Beautiful
now
yellow paint.
it's so happy.
The original one was not. It was from Ohio. It was rusted like you can't believe, and it got totaled. I mean,
Right.
like I said, the story's it's a full hour show, but so I
Give us the top line.
The
Was
top
it a
line.
chicken restaurant?
I don't know because I bought it at the impound auction. I saw it in Glendale. I flagged the person down. People leave notes on it all the time. I want to buy it. I want to rent it. I want to photograph it. And so I know, but I was one of those people. I flagged this girl down that was driving it. It wasn't hers. It was out from Ohio for this low buck movie. She was joyriding it. I said, I want to buy this. And so I offered her. The original one was rusted like all the way through. It was
Right.
worth literally zero. But I said, it's worth, it's priceless. So I offered her $3,500. She said, I'll tell the owner. When I got the car out of impound, my phone number on a scrap of paper is in the back seat. This is months later. But so I sent a note to Auto Week, that back page, and said, hey, everyone's raving about the new Swift Indy car that won on its debut, Paul Newman's car. I said, this is the real machine. I said, I'm hoping to end up with this. Then nothing. A couple months later, Auto Week invites me to
Oh,
New
really?
York.
Nothing? They
Nothing.
didn't respond?
No
To the
response.
Chicken Mobile letter that you scrawled?
Well, the owner, like I said, you get notes all the time, so you ignore those.
Right.
But fate intervened because a few months later, Auto Week invites me to New York Auto Show dinner. I said, I'll be there. By the way, no word on the chicken car. Clearly a conspiracy. I've got Oliver Stone looking into it. And so they run that on the back page with that note. About a month later, Mark Vaughn leaves a message on my machine, back when we had machines, and he says, someone just called here and said that car you're looking for is in an impound yard in Santa Monica. I saw it in Glendale, mind you, on the other side of town. So I was racing in Phoenix. It was 1997, April, I think. I flew home a day early. I was supposed to meet with some NASCAR people the next day. I went to the impound yard. I said, I want to look at that car. They're like, no. I said, I just want to look at it. They're like, this is jail for cars. No. Said, it's being auctioned 10 a.m. Be here with cash. I showed
Right.
up with $10,000 cash, and I bought
Come
it
on.
for $800.
And why do you want this car?
I don't know.
$800?
$895.
$895. Did anybody bid against you?
No.
No.
No. I was so excited.
So why not get it for $40?
Well, that was I was so excited because there was one other guy that showed up because they said be here at 10 sharp, and I'm
Right.
usually not that on time. I was there at 10 sharp. Finally, 10:30. I'm like, come on, how about? They're like, hold on. This other guy, they're waiting for someone else. I'm like, oh, set up. He was a wholesaler. Didn't want the car, but so I almost dislocated my shoulder throwing up my arm for $895,
Wow.
not realizing that if I just shut up, I would have gotten it for $40. But
And what was on the title? Whose name was on it?
there's a guy from Ohio. He ended up tracking me down and calling me, and he, needless to say, he was a character too. And so he wanted it back. He said, "My kid cries every night." I said, "Put your kid on the phone." He says, "Oh, he's at his mom's." You know.
Yeah,
So it's
okay.
like it was just this whole. And so I don't know if he built it.
What? But how did it? There's so many mysteries here. But it wasn't impounded from Ohio, so
No,
someone had
he
it.
loaned it to this guy that was a writer, producer, actor, real estate agent that was trying to make a go with this low buck movie. This guy had money in the movie, loaned him the car.
Right.
It had expired tags. It got towed. This
I
flaky
see,
guy
I
that
see.
got it towed never claimed it.
I see.
And I
What's
bought it.
on the plate?
I mean, the plate now is just a regular register.
So you still
Oh,
have
I
this
want
car.
to get a new plate because I think anyone with a chicken car, their plate should say spork. Because I always like, like if you had a coat of arms that was like a little chicken with it holding up a spork.
This is the best part about the car
Yeah.
is every time you take it out, you hear stuff I've never heard that one before. I always thought cocksure would be sort of a good
I like
one.
spork.
Spork, that's funnier.
Oh yeah, and you could have a little spork emblem, like Von Dutch hand paint the spork.
Now
on there.
you're married, right, Tom?
I'm married. Yes.
Yeah.
The
Do
wife.
you go out on dates in this?
The wife likes it from afar.
Anything yellow is happy, and anything with a chicken is happy. This brings joy to the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
There's truth to that. Like, when you drive it, it's fun in a group, but it's a special experience driving it by yourself.
What group would you drive it in? What other weird Wienermobiles? What else goes with it?
Meaning a group outing.
This is
People say,
cooler
let's
than
go
the
to dinner.
Wienermobile.
Let's go to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. People say there's a zillion outings you can do. But when you drive it by yourself, you kind of forget you're in it sometimes after a while. But I was kind of lost in thought, and I was kind of in a hurry. I was in a bad mood. And then I'm about to make a left turn, and this homeless person steps off, pushing their shopping cart off in Venice off the curb. And I'm like, oh. And they get halfway across the street, and they break into the biggest smile and giving me thumbs up. I'm like, it's always a great sort of reset on, again, taking stuff too seriously.
Yeah.
So
No,
we
cars
should-
that make people happy. That's
We
my
should
little
have
Volkswagen
we
police
should get
car. Does that.
horrible, like motorcycle gang, hairy, filthy, dangerous-looking people, and put them in that car to wave as they drive down the road.
it is a smile machine for sure. I've thought of putting like literally like a slot in the trunk, and with a 501c3 saying, if this made you smile, and then
Right.
and donate it or so forth. There's a zillion things you could do with it. It is fun.
Where do
It's
you
a
house
little
the
bit-
chicken?
Well, it actually is.
Why did I see it down in the Palisades on Entrada a lot? By the steps.
Yes, that's where we own a house down there on Entrada. There, that was it. It couldn't stay long because of a neighbor revolt. I mean, it could have, but that was part of the story.
They didn't like it. They got not,
No.
they'll tolerate the stairs, but not a chicken car.
They came over. Well, I met,
What were they saying? It was affecting values? Because every time I drove out to Malibu, I loved seeing it.
well,
It made me
that's
happy.
the funny part is we had just bought this house. It was parked there. It wasn't going to stay there, but. They came over, and when I first met this couple, I said to my wife, I said,
Trouble.
They're going to be a handful. She goes, what do you mean? I said, just trust me. 2 weeks later, they're knocking on the door, and they just launched right in. And she says, listen, I got nothing to do with that car. It's my
Right.
husband's car. You're going to have to wait till he gets home. And so they came back. She says, I will warn you, he really likes that car. So they come back, and they start saying, I said, listen, let me stop you right there. I said, I can park it there. It's a public street. I said, there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
I said, however, my wife does not want to beef with our new neighbors. So I said, it's not going to stay. For the record, I don't like the color of your house, but I can't make you paint it. So anyway, so then
You see the look on my face, Ferris. What do you think I would have said to these people?
Yeah, I know you would have handled it differently. But this
Yeah,
is one of the most
yeah.
common. We talk about this all the time with neighborhood wars, and I love the Nextdoor app because I love like little neighborhood problems, and this is a very common one: parking the car across or near somebody's house who, when
Yeah,
they come
that's
home, they get angry, and
different.
I can see both sides of it.
Yeah,
A
no,
giant
no,
yellow
no.
chicken mobile in my multi-million-dollar Santa Monica house.
I would be thrilled.
Here's what I thought when I would see that car is surfer crackheads live there. Surfer crackheads.
Surfer crackheads, which is, I like. I like the fact that people
And I
sort of...
now that I know you, I go, well, that's not. I know you're not a surfer crackhead, but I get what you're doing. But at the same time, I kind of sympathize with those folks and go, yeah, big yellow chicken mobile.
Well,
No.
but here's the thing.
Park it
It's
in
a
Zuckerman's
happy
yard.
What I
car.
said to him, I said, listen, just so you know, 90% of people like it. I said
Right,
100% of
right.
kids like it.
You've taken some
90% of
actual
people like
polling
it. I
here?
said some people think it's kind of like pop art.
I want to know how many people you've
I
actually
studied
polled.
art in school.
Oh, fuck
That is
yourself.
not
Jesus
art.
Christ.
So here's
Really?
here's the finish to that story. It lived at the Fairmont for the next 5 years.
At the hotel.
At the hotel.
Now, why did they take it?
Because they have good taste.
So wait, who did
It lived.
you talk to?
It
over
lived
there?
rent
What-
free at the Fairmont.
in
which,
their garage or out front
in
the
that
ballet
lot
circle?
next to it. It's next to the
Right,
Huntley,
okay.
and it was in that public lot. And so that was the best part, was telling the neighbors. They said, "Where did the car go?" I said, "It's at the Fairmont." They're like, "What do you
Yeah.
mean?" I said, "The Fairmont. It lives at the Fairmont."
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, you can't stay here, buddy. Where do you want to go?" He said, "What's the nicest hotel in town?" I said, "It's the Fairmont." He said, "That's where I want to live." I said, "All right, done." He said, "Didn't Dali live at the Plaza?" I said, "I think he did."
And where is it now?
It's now in my warehouse in Carson. It's
Oh, there you
the
go.
hard part is it won't fit in a garage, so it needs
Right.
it needs a big door.
Well,
And so until I had a big
like
door,
Stanley the Giraffe.
Zuckerman is going to clear out some space in his Robertson
take it.
hangar, and
Absolutely.
he's going to set aside his new 993 RS and put that
If
in
I
there,
could
yellow for yellow.
periodically, if I could once a month take it out for a little joyride.
easy.
It's
Joyride.
That's right.
Yes.
It's a joyride.
Yes.
I would love to have the chicken.
Well, we've sold a car here. Congratulations. Well, anyways, that's exciting. I was so excited when I found out you owned
Yes.
that car.
Yes.
Because really, it was one of the joys. of
Once
my,
people know
weekend
I own
driving.
that car, no one wants to talk about racing anymore. That's all they want to talk about.
Yeah,
Which is fine,
It's
which
true.
is totally
the Chicken
fine with
Mobile is a very interesting subject. I think
Yes.
it was in a lot of Los Angelinos' heads. We've all been wondering what that was and hoping there was a chicken restaurant connection of some kind. But no,
Nope.
it's just it's a crazy
It's a
person.
shame that you and Dennis Woodruff didn't go off into some future
Well,
success.
You know, there might still be hope for me. I'm not sure I'll ever attain the level of success he has.
There are a
but
lot of those L.A. cars, though, around, aren't there? There's Angeline's car.
Yes.
There's the Dennis
There's
Woodruff
the
car.
shoe car.
We
There's
like
the
that.
shoe
The shoe
car.
car.
There's the
In Santa
chicken
Monica,
car.
yeah.
What else has been driving around L.A. that we've seen for many years? Is that it?
There's a hearse in Hollywood that somebody
There's
drove.
the Ghostbusters car
Yeah, I was gonna
out
say
by Santa Monica
Ghostbusters.
Airport there.
This isn't in the same ilk, of course. The Wienermobiles, people love those. They're not L.A. cars, but
No.
now the Dumb and Dumber van would be in if you ever had a shot at that.
Right.
That would be a great bookend.
Well, everybody's got a to-do list. Let's
Yes.
pay some bills here. Drop off the dry cleaning, pick up some milk. Here's an idea. Let's save hundreds of dollars on car insurance. I wonder if you can insure. What do you insure the Chicken Mobile?
I have insured it. The first one got totaled.
Do you insure the chicken part of it or just the rest of the car?
No, just the rest of the car. I got downgraded from when it got totaled. They offered me $700, and then I complained, and they said, "Let's do a study." And they said we're downgrading that to $442.
And the good thing is you don't have to drop off or pick up anything. All you have to do is go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes you could be saving 15% or more on car insurance, extra money in your pocket. It may just be the most rewarding thing you do today. Who would fix the Chicken Mobile if, say, the giant chicken head got
bits.
destroyed?
You'd go to either a crackhead surfboard repair guy.
Yeah, fiberglass, right?
It's just fiberglass.
All right, there's been another Steve McQueen car found, according to my Haggerty.com email newsletter that I didn't sign up for.
Which one?
This is McQueen's Trans Am that survived an explosion and a 40-year slumber. Sound familiar? Nope, not to me either. It was in the movie The Hunter, which was filmed in 1979, a year before his death. So he was rife with cancer, I'm guessing, at that point. Do you guys know anything about this car?
No.
Do you remember him driving this Trans Am? I'm going to show you a picture of it right here. Here it is on the truck. Now keep in mind, this car has been exploded. This car was not only driven in The Hunter, a movie I have not seen. I'm going to show you guys a clip.
Oh, wow.
But not on any of our radars, right?
I never even saw the movie.
No.
All right. Here's a clip. You're going to see. There's Steve McQueen getting onto some sort of Beechcraft jet, or getting off in his mom jeans right there, and his duffel bag. Remember that duffel bag? Look at that. That was the duffel bag when they only made a duffel bag.
A duffel
Remember?
bag,
Here's
that
a
was it.
duffel bag. There it is. Blue with white straps. And there's that gorgeous Trans Am we all loved, right?
Yep.
Look at that.
Very Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, my God.
No T. Is that T-top or is that
Hard top.
Yeah, it looks like it's a hard top.
Smokey had the T.
All right,
Had
so then
trouble getting in.
now watch. Yeah, he gets in this car and he's jamming it. Again, Steve McQueen, I didn't know drove a Trans Am in the movie. But I'm guessing this isn't going to be one of these big Steve McQueen car sales.
Why did he put reverse?
I don't know. He backed it up. They didn't do an edit there, and now he's doing a lot of screeching. This is, I think they forgot. Looks like
This
he's
is a movie?
I think he's having trouble driving it, and maybe there's a nice interior shot. Now here's the car.
You
Here's
could only get the 4-speed out of California.
I guess that was a joke that it didn't run so well.
I guess, or maybe he's not doing so well. There's a real helicopter shot. That's not a drone shot.
What is this movie about again? Or do we
I
have
don't
any
know.
idea what his
Doesn't
deal is?
matter. But here, he's on the ground. It looks like it's a comedy of some kind. Now he's hooning the car out at the farm. Okay, and then Hold on. He's being chased through a cornfield in this Trans Am.
It's part Dukes
This
of
car
Hazzard.
gets
This is awesome.
destroyed, which to me is diminishing its auction value coming up, okay? So now we've seen it off-roaded. Now we're seeing it blast through a cornfield, being chased by a
thresher.
Okay, let me get to it. Just wait.
And they're going to make crop circles.
Oh.
I don't even think he's driving the car at this point. Some hillbillies are. And they crash. Oh, no, they make it away from the thresher. Okay, but
And now they're on
Now,
fire.
wait. Now they back up. Now watch what happens to the car. And this is the car.
Oh, it explodes.
It's completely destroyed. Okay, so what they found is the
carcass.
exploded carcass
The car
of a
carcass.
Trans Am.
So do you restore it back to exploded glory, or?
Brothers Stan and Randy Harvell from a neighboring town knew about the car, and so after many years reached out to Harold, whoever that is, and agreed to sell the
Stan
classic
and
car
Harold.
dealer in Houston. They always end up in Houston, don't they?
With Ray J.
These Houston cars. And I guess the plan is to bring it back.
Wow.
To restore it.
Money not well
I don't-
spent by anybody. Not by Stan, Harvey, or Harold.
But what are you buying? The rights to an exploded car to a movie nobody saw?
See, this is where they're going to sink their life savings into it because they're going to make a killing,
Another.
and they're not.
The Dennis Woodruff syndrome.
Yes.
I've got an idea. I've got a great idea to make millions
right.
of dollars.
Here's another car. Here's another weird vehicle that... Now, I'd love to have one. Didn't you buy one of these cars, Zuckerman?
For my partner, Nick. It was his
Does he
dream
still have
car.
that car?
He does have the car. We
Does
bought
he drive it?
periodically, yes.
And it's got no miles on it, right?
No miles, under 200 miles.
Wow.
Under 100 miles.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
Automatic, 4-speed.
Automatic.
Yeah.
And you've never driven it?
I did.
I was in love with that car growing up.
Listen, it bought me.
Same.
I don't know what famous author said you can never go home, but I thought that was the fastest car in the world in 1979, and today it is anemic. It's
Yeah.
not going anywhere quick.
What? My dad. I talked my dad after Smoking the Bandit into buying one, and he bought it in Nevada with a 4-speed. And
Your dad was a racer too, right?
He was a late in life racer. You know, he was a car guy. Didn't have any money. When he made money, got into cars and did some racing and stuff.
You talked him into that, and he said yes.
Yeah.
That is unreal.
Yeah. And
How old were you when you talked him into it?
Well, so he bought it in '79. So I was like 13.
Oh, my God. What a dad move.
And then I
That's
ended up.
ultimate, right? That's like the perfect age because I was, I think, 11 or 12 when I saw that car.
That is a hero.
And I freaked out.
Yeah.
You know,
I
remember, as a matter of fact, my neighbor's boyfriend was an EMT and he bought one. PJ was his name. And I remember the day he took us for a ride in that car. It was
Right?
one of the greatest days of my life.
We all wanted
And
that
your
car.
dad bought it.
He bought it. Now he didn't buy it for me. I did end
it
up
didn't
driving
matter.
some of it later until my friend hurled in the back seat, and that car was ruined from that point forward.
But when you're 13 and that's in your driveway, right?
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you sleep in it the first night?
It had that velour, velour
Yes.
interior. I mean, I loved
puke up.
everything about that. Yeah,
Oh my God!
What was your
a
friend's
dad
name?
move.
that was Stuart Goddard.
Stewie.
Stuart Zuckerman picks right up on the vomit.
Yeah.
Forget about the car. Let's just talk about the vomit.
Stewart never lived it down.
No. Jimmy Connolly was the kid who threw up the first time in a car I was
Craig
in.
Gross puked in the back of my
P210
car
Datsun
after
P210.
having a tuna melt.
Yeah. The tuna melt made him throw up?
Yeah, and then the tuna was ground into the floor mats. It was awful.
That's horrifying.
This was Jim Beam Hurl, which was really bad.
I will sell a car now if somebody throws up in it. I mean, when the kids were little, their puke was so harmless, and generally I would rig it so they'd puke on themselves in the giant seat, and then I'd throw the seat out. But
No, it ruins it. I
These
mean, when
days,
it gets on a hot
forget
day,
it.
I mean, forget it. Yeah.
yeah, no.
You'd have to, what you do is sell it in the winter, so someone comes
Right.
and says, "Oh,
And then later it
that's all right."
blooms.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a lot of questions too, and I don't want to ignore those, but I have a lot more stuff to get through. We have, how much time do we have? Can we just keep chit-chatting here? Is that all good?
I'm good.
All right.
Going anywhere.
Our fans, of course, very active on Instagram. They want to know, would you ever modify any of your Porsches? Yeah, I think we've all done that. Or do they all have to remain as they were from the factory? I modify my 58. I have a Jim Wilhoit motor in it. We can talk about that when we see John Wilhoit. Did I say Jim Wilhoit?
Yeah,
John Wilhoit.
Jim
I know.
Beam,
I've got
John
lots
Wilhoit,
of
Johnny Walker.
Yeah, lots of brain.
That used to be real
Clouds
sacrilege.
right now.
That's changed between the outlaw
It
cars,
has.
Rod Emery, and now
Right.
the
And now-
singers and so forth.
And I think, but
yeah.
Will Hoyt's I put in a different category because it's so well executed, his work. It's not just Frankenstein work.
But there's some cars, and I really make that decision on a per-car basis. There's some cars I want to make my own, and that maybe have come to me with modifications. Like my 58 Speedster is not in its original color when it was delivered to me. It was originally a white-black car. Its motor was missing. And I thought, well, I'll just make this what I want to make it. And I'm very happy with it. So with that car, I do whatever I want. And there are other cars that are preservation cars where you go to great lengths to get the original parts and make sure that it's perfect. So you're, the old caretaker analogy, blah, blah, blah. So that's usually how we make our decisions, right? And then there are those, Zuckerman, you take some liberties with color that I would not take. So you've changed the color to your 300 SL, for instance.
Well, and my opinion on that is that there were so many silver 300 SLs, they were ubiquitous. I went period with that very dark blue, Dunkelblau, over red.
Right.
Red was the original interior. So I don't think I went too crazy. And I think it works on that
It's
car.
a beautiful car, yeah.
I think it works. I don't think anyone's going to miss the silver 300 SL.
Yeah, but that's where you and I
With
split.
Mercedes, as long as you use it's like different rules.
Right.
As long as you use a factory color, it doesn't matter if you change
now,
the color.
I think
It doesn't
if you were going to change a Dunkelblau to white, people would say, "What the hell did you do that for?"
Yeah. And you see those cars for sale a lot.
Right.
You'll
Remember
see a
red-
car that's silver that was originally like, a beautiful shade of blue, and you're like,
Right.
that's the
Why?
problem with the car. It's all the money,
Right.
and I've got to repaint the
Where
car.
I take slight liberties, for example, in the 65 that we just finished with Will Hoyt, the 65 911, I let him breathe on the engine a little bit. I didn't let him go full Will Hoyt on it. I didn't want a hot rod, but I wanted just maybe 15 or 20% more power, so there'd be some get up and go, but the character of the car is not appreciably changed.
Yeah, there you go. And all the numbers match. I saw Kendall race and essentially dominate IMSA GTU in the 80s, says Mick LaRue. Can you ask him if he would enjoy taking out his old Mazda RX-7 for one last rip?
Well, that's almost a setup because that was my very first IMSA championships, 86 and 87 in that car. And I got it at the tail end of it. It's the winningest car in IMSA history because Jim Downing won the GTU title, Jack Baldwin won 2, and then I won 2. I own that car, and I'm going to drive it for the first time in 30 years at Monterey because this year, Monterey mark is IMSA cars because the 50th anniversary of IMSA. So I've had it since then, and now that I have to pay for it, it's a whole different deal. Every time my crew chief calls me, he says, "Hey, I found one of those PBS transmissions." I'm like, "Okay, how much?" And I'm like, "Oh, can we wait for the next one?" He says, "There won't be a next one." And to answer, yes, I would very much like to take it for a rip. It's going to be weird because that was the first race car, GT car I ever drove, and it had 330 horsepower, and literally no torque, and it was clapped out for its time. So I'm not sure, and I've driven a lot of really great stuff since then. I'm not sure what it's going to be like to get back
Were
into
you
that.
naturally fast the minute you got in a car?
Yes, but I also, really studied it from there. I mean, it came pretty easy to me. I mean, I was quick right away. But quick and world-class quick are different. I mean, there's most drivers, and I thought everybody had to work at it until I ran with Al Jr. in IROC. And Al Jr. is literally, I think most people study it and refine it. Al Jr. is like a natural, I don't think he thinks about it. I asked him once, "Hey, what are you doing here?" He's like, "I don't know." And I thought he was messing with me because he didn't want to tell me. Then I realized he doesn't. It's just feel, and I look, and he's not conscious of what he's doing.
Wow. Well, one of our listeners wanted to know about racing schools that we've attended. I've done Skip Barber. I've done Jim Hall kart racing. I've done try to chase Hurley Haywood School at Road Atlanta with Porsche. What do you recommend for racing schools for folks? And by the way, if you have kids and they're driving age, send them to racing school. It really is a great way for them to learn how to handle a car that's a little out of control and how to learn to race on the track and not in the street. But what do you say? Where do you go for racing school if you just want to learn?
Well, it's getting hard because the racing school business is a much tougher business now because it used to be, and a lot of them Skip Barber went Chapter 11. It's been purchased by a new group and is running it. Bondurant's bankrupt right now.
They are.
And so the issue is, it used to be the only way you could get on a racetrack was if you owned a race car and were an amateur racer, or you went to a driving school.
Right.
Now there's clubs, there's track days, and so the funnel is got big leaks in it, and so they just can't charge enough to make. So, I think now these.
But the instruction at Skip Barber was great. It was a 3-day commitment, but
absolutely
you were
like top notch.
Yeah, it was serious, and I learned so much. And Jim Hall was the same way. Jim would come out and teach us how to handle these cars on slicks or go-karts.
Yeah.
And you're jamming around 80 or 90 miles an hour, and you really learn a lot about a car and weight distribution and everything else. But clubs aren't going to teach you that. That's just going to be a bunch of yahoos, right?
No, my point is it's harder to find the schools
right.
because they're endangered. Skip Barber is reconstituted, so
right.
They're still a good one. If
the Porsche Experience Center is great.
The Porsche Experience Center is. There would be some fundamentals you could learn. It's more.
Right.
It's more to give you a little taste of what it is.
But yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think the Porsche Sport Driving School in Barber in Alabama, AMG has a driving academy which I'm involved in, and so we get all kinds through there. People that are hardcore love it and have done it before, and people like that are petrified that got a new AMG and it comes with a free 1-day certificate, and it gives them some confidence. We do some exercise there that everyone should do. No one literally knows how hard to step on a brake pedal. Like if you take someone into a parking lot and say, stop as fast as you can, and it'd be like, no, push harder. And that alone is worth the time and money spent,
Yeah.
And
I think
some of these
hearing
things.
a car, knowing the difference between chirping tires and screaming tires.
Yep.
Like, when I have my wife in the car and the tires chirp, like that, she goes, ah, we're skidding up. I'm like, well, no, those are happy tires. That's the edge. That's the edge of the turn. Unintentional, but
right.
It's when they go, ah, and scream like you just screamed that we're in trouble, right? And, I don't know. I wanted to actually bring this up because there's been so much of it lately. It seems like people in L.A. have forgotten how to drive. What are the most annoying things that L.A. drivers do these days? For me, lately, it's been the and I think this is just because there are a lot of old people in my neighborhood. Before they make a left turn, they do that little dash out to the right so they go in. That one I've been seeing a lot of has been making me absolutely crazy. What do you guys hate?
Go ahead, Tommy.
I mean, the one that's annoying and dangerous is people that don't accelerate to merge on the freeway.
Yeah.
And it is so. It's like gears going together. It is so much easier to merge when you're going the right speed.
Why are they waiting for someone? The quote unquote, I'm waiting for them to let me in, as if it's someone else's responsibility to allow them to merge.
I mean, I
it's
get
affirmative.
it because they're not comfortable and they're
jams.
scared. But it's so much easier when there's no difference in speed.
Right.
Basically, you're like trying to back into the lane if you're going 30 miles an hour. It's crazy
slow
dangerous,
driving,
so.
I believe, is far more dangerous in L.A. than fast driving.
That's a surface street issue for me, the amount of people going slow. And I suspect it's a lot of Uber, Lyft, rideshare people don't know the neighborhood, and they're looking for something. They're confused. They're distracted by their apps that are telling them where to go, and they've turned their minds off.
And by the way, I don't hear enough people talk about this. Uber and Lyft are employing the worst drivers in the world. By as far as I can tell, the number of illegal U-turns. I had to stop.
Unbelievable.
I had to stop in the middle of a 50-mile-per-hour road the other day. I suddenly come up with this car. The guy's just stopped. I'm like, what are you doing picking up a passenger? Even the cab driver knows this in New York City. You got to pull over. But is this another example of Silicon Valley just going, we're just going to do whatever the hell we want? Oh, you need skilled drivers? How about we give the people who can't get jobs, why don't we just let them do this? Because they're so stupid.
My belief is
let's put them in charge of driving other people around.
You don't have good drivers, and the way that the apps work, if you're working for Uber or Lyft, you have to use a navigation. One of the navigation apps, Waze, Maps, or their own in-house brand. So you're turning your brain off and you're looking at the app the whole time. So I'm watching guys, as you say, do something illegal, and they're doing it poorly.
Yeah, I'm saying it a little cleaner. I don't think they're good drivers for the most part. I think all of them are some of the worst drivers I've ever seen.
Nobody raises their hand in second grade and says, I want to be an Uber driver.
Right.
You have competing factors. lack of skills,
Yes.
but then also distraction like
Yes.
you're talking about. And 3, and this applies not just Uber drivers, is a lack of consideration. Like I sometimes do a last-minute merge, but I will not stop in the lane next to that to do if I don't know where my turn is, go another block. Like,
Right.
like nobody will do that.
No, they won't. And
Right.
having lived in New York City and had to, flagging cabs every day, you get to learn that there are these rules. Like if you're standing in the middle of the street, the guy goes, "I can't pick you up there."
Yeah.
Like it's against the law. But in Uber, there doesn't seem to be
New
any,
York
they'll
cab
do
guys can drive.
Right,
They
and they
don't
know how to
adhere to
drive.
rules, but like they
can
pay
drive.
attention. They know what's going
It's
on
their
around
business.
them. Yeah.
Right.
They can break the law and do it well.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
That's another pet peeve of mine. People who are, as you say, not oriented to the situation. They're in a small residential area, and their door is fully open as far as it
that's
will
another
go.
one, yeah.
And they are not doing anything to close it.
Yeah.
And that bugs me. And one day I'm going to get a hunk of shit car, and I'm just going to spend the day. You don't want your door closed? I'm just going to take it off permanently. Fuck you.
I saw
It's
that
gone.
happen.
I think I just had a
Merry
flashback.
Christmas.
Didn't Jerry Reed do that in Smoking the Bandit?
It's the day after Christmas. So here's
fuck
your
you.
holiday message from Zuckerman.
Listen,
I'm going to
you.
rent a
Take
car,
your
take
door.
your door off. Yeah. How do you like that? Then get out. Sue me. Go ahead and sue me.
What I like,
Yeah.
I like how he says his name, Zuckerman.
Zuckerman. I know. He
Zuckerman.
does that. He says Zuckerman.
I guess you might put
You know why?
pizzazz on it.
Because they know that it's a Z and not an S.
No, we get really frustrated with LA driving. We try to be good drivers, and someone, I went through the questions this morning. Someone did ask us, how do you handle? What are better ways of handling the traffic? How do you calm down when you're in the car? One of the
Remember
listeners
Maz
wants to know.
Jabrani? He was the one.
Yes.
who-
What did he say?
He said that it was the essence of it was the Persian religion of Zoroastrianism that he applies to driving. Think good thoughts, say good things, do good deeds. The essence of.
I
and
don't
said,
think that's
wow.
going to help anybody.
Well, that's
Zuckerman.
easier said than done.
Yes,
The
it's
only
easier
thing that
said
will
than
help
done.
is leaving early.
That's
Yes,
a good one.
agree,
Leaving
agree.
early is
Because
good.
if you're in the jam, nothing's
yeah.
going to help.
I'll tell you another one. Don't make eye contact.
You're
You can
not in
do
a
whatever you want
relationship.
in your car, but if you look over, those are fighting words.
Well, that's what
The
he
look,
said.
So you don't look.
Said you're not
That's
in a
another one.
relationship with that other person.
Right.
Just keep going.
And by the way, I feel like you can say whatever you want in the privacy of your own car, looking straight ahead, but keep your hands on the wheel, and that way you get to vent your frustration in a healthy manner. But don't look.
Remember
don't
the
look over
Eric
there.
Troop story? He got so frustrated.
Well,
he was
now
go-
you're saying someone's name nobody knows.
Oh, hey, our
Yes.
friend Eric, and he
Yes.
said, I asked him, what are those marks in your steering wheel? And he said, dude, I was either going to ram the car in front of me or bite the steering wheel. I chose to bite the steering wheel. I said, right on, I get it.
You'll notice my Expedition has no bite marks in the steering wheel, but it has a lot of marks on the front bumper.
Well, while I like this story, every car comes with its share of stories. That ding in your bumper when you nervously picked up your first date, those bite marks on your steering wheel, the luxury package you get after a big promotion, or the mileage you saved by riding your bike all summer. While you can't put a price tag on your stories now, with TrueCar, you can at least find out what your car is worth when it's time to sell or trade it in. Just go to TrueCar, enter your license plate number, and watch how your car's details pop up. Then answer a few questions, navigation, and moonroof. You'll find out. Watch as they bump up your value or lower your value. What about high mileage? You'll get all the information you need. You already knew it was going to cost you, but now you know how much it dings your wallet, so you can plan ahead. Once you're finished, you'll get a True Car cash offer sent in minutes, which you can take to the local certified dealer to cash out or trade in. That's a pretty easy way to get rid of a car, huh? So when you're ready to experience a better way to sell or trade in your car, check out True Car today. True cash offer not available in all areas. Hey, True Car, we're selling a 300 SL. I want to bring this in. They came with a paint color change.
That would be funny to plug that in.
Yeah.
Not available in all areas.
Can I say mook? I just said mook. Can I say mook? What does mook mean?
I don't know.
Well, we'll find out. All right, Zuckerman, did you ever receive a call back from the Peanut M&M Deformities Department?
What do you think?
They never called you back?
Of course not. They don't want to talk about real things.
Oh, my
Real problems?
Well, we got to stay on this. Look, listeners, I encourage you to Google the M&M peanut complaint line.
Have you noticed this, Tommy?
Hold on. You're from Spike's Car Radio, and see if you can get an answer to one. Where are they making these peanut M&Ms
Are we
now?
deputizing everyone to say they're from in this context? They can say Spike's Car Radio.
Absolutely.
We are official correspondents from Spike's
Car Radio, and we love your product. We eat them all the time, but we want to know.
Declining quality and uniformity.
Yes.
We need consistency. The small things need to be the same in this world.
These
problem. It's like the Nutella you get in Europe tastes different than our Nutella.
Have you seen the new thing? And then Hershey's Kisses, the tips are
No,
broken.
the tips are missing, right?
Yep.
Just the tip.
Now,
Just the
you
tips.
said the M&M's are Hershey's. M&M's is Mars.
Mars, you're right.
Yeah, but again, these are difficult times, Tommy, and we rely on our cheap candies.
Forrest Mars would be rolling over right now.
Yes.
Is that was his name?
Forrest
How do you know that?
He lived above the factory in
true.
Vegas,
And the
when he
M&M
was
is
worth $15 billion or something.
And the M&M is the other
Forrest Mars.
Forrest Mars
it's-
Senior.
It's Mars, and who's the other guy that the M&M is named after?
I don't
Mars
know,
and
actually.
Mars and Mulch.
Mars and Mulch. Anyways,
Mars and McGee.
we really want these things to get sorted out. We really want that stuff fixed. Zuckerman, I don't know why. This time of year, I think about American muscle cars. I think about home. I think about West Bridgewater, Massachusetts, and that usually makes me want to buy a car. And lo and behold,
It was West Bridgewater?
West Bridgewater. Mecum Auctions has a Kiss of Me auction in 2019, January 3rd to the 13th. That's a long, long auction.
Long haul.
Well, it's a long auction. How many cars are we doing? But they have this car right here, this 67 Pontiac GTO
Yes.
in all black.
Coke bottle body.
Look at this car, Zuckerman. Look at this car and tell me how it makes you feel.
You know, it makes me feel like you're a winner. Everyone's a winner in those days with that
Manual transmission,
and bucket
Zuckerman.
seats to slide around it.
That's what their buckets look like. They look like they'd be really nice on your back. This is a Concord nut and bolt restoration using NOS parts.
You know what that
Can
means?
they prove that?
And
Less
what it
than
means?
200 miles since
Oh,
completion.
We know what
Uh-oh.
that means.
Yeah.
Nothing works right.
Nothing works right.
Right,
No,
and
that's a
chrome
problem.
shit's flying off as you go down the road.
Right. I listen to some of these. I like some of these descriptions. Original laser straight sheet metal.
Oh, because they use lasers.
It's like a menu. You read menus now.
Yes, they
and
choose
it's
description.
Like, oh my God, these descriptions are so good.
They are, but it's funny because there aren't many of us who go. A lot of people get excited. Oh, less than 200 miles since completion, but we know the truth of what that means. You better have driven that thing up
What's
and
the rule?
down.
110, 100?
Yeah,
Right,
110, 100. That's
I think
right.
it's 400 miles, but we wrote our own ads, right? Only driven in the rain.
Right.
Fart soaked seats, right? What it should really say, fart soaked. Hundreds
Never
of
driven
thousands
outside
of
of Sa-
fart soaked miles.
Never driven outside of San Diego is another one.
Yeah.
Oh, what does that mean? Never watched Game of Thrones in the back
Summer
seat.
miles.
Summer miles.
Summer miles.
Those seem like the hardest miles
Cream
of
puff.
all.
Little old lady from downtown Detroit.
Right.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
well,
cream.
old ladies do know how to drive their cars. An old lady car is good, but
My daily driver now, C320 wagon 02 that I bought
Really?
from a little old lady from Palo Alto, passed
Zuckerman.
away with 55,000.
now look at that.
miles.
Look at that original hubcap still in the plastic. All right, now that's different. What do you
Now,
think
with
this car?
13 days of auction, there'll be some deals falling through the cracks there.
This,
Boy,
this
that's
is
a long time for drinking.
This is one.
Candles
What do you think?
might like that for all of 10 or 15 days, right?
All right, Zuckerman.
Yeah.
What would you pay for this car?
I think that car would
Factory
be
Starlight black on black GTO.
Be
Black
lucky to bring 75 in this market. Lucky.
They think this car is going to get at least $115,000.
Yeah, well, bullshit.
I would like to do auction coverage. The three of us, we could just sit here and do this and watch these cars go up and go,
Auction
I
coverage,
told ya."
race broadcasts, golf broadcasts.
Yes.
You ready?
Yeah, well, bullshit.
But why don't we do a live stream? Because no auction house in their right mind would let us sit up and put ourselves on camera. But if we were to live stream it, and just for the fun of it, maybe do an Instagram live and watch some cars go up. Maybe in January. Maybe we'll do like some of the Scottsdale auctions. That would be really fun.
A little bit like you saying the Porsche thing.
Yeah.
The irony is they would hate it and more people would watch the auction.
Yeah.
And the prices would go up.
Right.
Right.
Well, we could just come in here, Zuckerman, and we'll just live stream Gooding's auction or Herm Sotheby's auction and just say the truth. Who's going to bid on this
Wait a
crap?
second. Are we allowed to say fraud, insider trading? Are we allowed to really call it the way
No,
we see
you
it?
can't tell those stories. No one wants to hear those stories.
You
You
the
can
truth?
you can allege.
Allege.
Yes.
Yes, allege. Yes.
I'd be very surprised if this is not a fraud.
Right. I smell phony baloney. Yeah. There's no bidder.
While we're getting the texts from our friends who are telling us that car didn't really just sell, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes.
Yes.
Allegedly.
But auctions are they're one of the.
fun.
It's a little bit like the lottery. There's some winners.
Every
There's
so
every so
often.
often there's a winner, and that's what keeps everyone going.
Yes,
That's what
exactly.
keeps everyone going.
It's true, but don't you just go, I'm going to go to Barrett Jackson this year. I'm just going to go for the people. I mean, I like the cars, but I like hanging around the people and talking about the cars more than actually looking for a
I
car
love
to
when
buy
Dean
there, right?
Maroney says, "I wish we could serve booze at the dealership and have hot chicks walking around."
You're just dropping
and
names.
TV,
Right,
Because
yeah.
TV is
Yeah.
like, hey,
Wait,
I got
Zuckerman,
more money than that
when
guy.
you drop someone's name that the audience doesn't know, you must.
Okay.
You're making assumptions now, and I
Yes.
know you're not in entertainment.
I'm not.
But I'm going to try to teach you now. It's a teaching moment, okay? It's the second time you've done it in the broadcast.
It's a pedantic moment. Go ahead.
Then start doing it.
Dean Maroney, our friend at the
Yes, that's how
at
you
Beverly
start
Hills
any
Porsche.
story, then any name you drop. When you say a name like Eric Troop, a complete
Okay, but
stranger,
Dean-
you have to go, I have a friend named
Okay.
Eric. You have to provide
Have we talked-
context.
you're right. You're
You have to
100%
provide
right. I
context.
hate saying
take
it.
the broadcast seriously.
Okay. I heard.
Yes, you and I know Dean. Just
Have
just,
we
just
have
give
mentioned
it. Just
Dean
remember that.
Maroney
And
from Beverly Hills Porsche, our go-to guy.
Yes, there you go.
In the car- in
and
the
then
Porsche
people will
world.
know. They'll understand who you're talking about. Otherwise, the fans they kind of go, I don't understand what he's saying. I don't understand what Zuckerman's saying. Which is
loves
most of
to
the time, by
lecture
the way.
me.
It's
He
not a
loves.
lecture; it's a teaching moment. Can I have Zuckerman's E28 M5 for Christmas?
Sure.
All right.
If you run Ferguson over with it.
Direct message him and get the car, and you can come run me over. Here's a good question I haven't had before for all of you. Scramdaz, do you guys still subscribe to car magazines? I don't. I don't anymore. What about you guys?
I still subscribe to Auto Week.
Yeah.
That's my.
That's a good one.
homage, yeah.
I do not.
Do you write? Do you write at all?
I used to have a long time ago. I had a column, race sort of report, driver's seat perspective for Auto Week, and they told me like it bugged me if it didn't sound like me. Most people just had their PR person write it. I said I can't do that. I said it's got to sound like me. So,
Yeah.
and I'm not a great writer, so it would take me like an all day.
Don't you hate writing?
All day.
I hate writing.
Is there gambling on races?
A little bit. Vegas has a line on NASCAR races. Vegas has a line.
Would you be able to
interesting.
pick winners?
Yeah. I mean, I would probably.
Where are you going with this?
Now it'd be interesting to hear because the new format in NASCAR is really. It probably messes with the line. They would just have to keep it safe, but because right now with the new format, it comes down to the last pit stop and restart, and so. I can usually pick who's going to run the best, or have a pretty better than average shot of that. But
Do you think
it doesn't
anyone
mean they're
would
going to win the
care
race.
if there was a gambling scandal in NASCAR?
I think
don't
we
think
should.
anybody would care.
Why don't we start a Tommy Kendall betting pool, Spike? And then we can bring some money in. We can take a piece
he's
off
gotta-
the top for the three of
He's
us.
got to
It's legal,
deliver
right?
winners.
It's legal now.
He's
Yeah,
got to
that's
deliver winners.
Yeah.
Only if he can deliver winners. But that's tough. Now you're really betting on engineers and mechanics and engines and.
Oh,
and
what do you
parts,
have an
right?
inside scoop on then these days?
Well, I mean, actually, speaking of this, I am part of this. This it's called it's called the RCGRL, the Really Cool Guys Racing League, which is all parody, and the team names are hysterical. But you pick the race winner, or you pick a team. You have Group A drivers, B and C for every series: MotoGP, Formula One, IndyCar, NASCAR, and it's fun. It's too much time if you're doing it every week, so you do it at the start of the year, and you're allowed like 2 substitutions a year, and it's amazing. There's this one guy. He's proud of himself, but he's won it like 5 times. So there really is a knack to this stuff.
Wow.
We
Yeah.
gotta gamble.
You're next. You're
Yeah,
next.
let's get
Steve.
some gambling.
Areopolis. So, how do you calm yourself during driving? We already covered that. Meditation, he says. Actually,
While you're driving?
Areopolis, not while you're driving, Zuckerman. I started using the Headspace app maybe a year ago, and it actually cut my road rage down by about 80 or 90%. So, yeah, try that.
Jerry,
I directly credit Headspace with making me a better driver on the road.
our friend
Meditation is
Jerry,
magic.
Yes.
our friend Jerry
Seinfeld, yes.
sent me to Transcendental Meditation.
He did.
Yes.
Do you still do that?
Yes, periodically. I
Yeah.
don't do it enough.
No. that's
Only when I'm
obvious.
in real pain.
All right, Zuckerman, question. And this is a good question. I haven't heard this question either. You own both a 488 Ferrari and a GT3, but I've never heard you compare these two cars. Says Star 2048.
Because, as you know, I don't drive one of those cars.
You don't drive the 488.
No.
Why? I love that car. It's so beautiful.
It's not for me.
It's not for you?
Yeah,
What do you feel? Is it too much to get out of? What is it that you don't like about it?
My partner, who I love, we own a lot of cars together, and that was one of his picks. And I just haven't taken to it. Maybe it's the seating position. It's a great car. It's a great tool. But I don't feel it.
You didn't take to it.
I didn't take to it.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. Like in terms of you guys are through and through Porsche guys, and it's funny how people. There's a certain sensibility. It might be you see it a lot with BMWs or whatever,
Right.
and or Ford Chevy. Someone's like a suburban person, someone's an expert, and so it's the little things. It's the way the boost on the brakes, the steering feel. You get kind of calibrated to a certain thing.
yeah.
and
The
it's
view, yeah. What do you have a preference, Tommy?
on. I mean,
Yeah,
You
what's
like
your
nine-
favorite car? If you could buy any car today, what would you get for your one car for 2019? What would you dream?
it's
car
funny.
be?
I have this fun game where I play. It's 4-car garage. But
Right.
you're-
Okay, good.
My,
Okay,
Give us the
we
four.
like this. Give
my
us this
daily
good.
driver is probably a Singer Porsche. I don't know if that really
Okay.
is a
Okay,
daily
that's
driver,
no.
but
You could be a daily.
You can
Yeah,
be,
yeah,
yeah, that's
you
a,
could
that's
daily.
probably
your-
a Singer Porsche.
Okay.
It used
Okay,
to
there's
be
one.
kind of a I like bigger cars, for dailies. So I had an S63 for a while.
Okay,
which
I
was-
like that. I
which was
respect
just
that.
a great
A
cruiser.
Chicken Mobile's number 3, and then
Chicken-mobile,
4. What would be 4?
Now
You would get a truck, wouldn't you?
no,
You would get a truck?
You got to have now. Chicken car. Actually, it's funny you say that because chicken car does have to be in that. I said I will sell. That will be the last thing that goes because one guy with a ton of money who has a Gulfstream jet said, "How much for that car?" I said, $1 million. He goes, "You're crazy." I said, "There's only one." And so
Singer S63, chicken car.
my
and
classic is a 300 SL Roadster. I
There
think.
you
300
go.
SL
No
No
Roadster.
Ferrari in that pack.
Yeah.
All right.
Where
Now,
now
with-
how many cars would you have to? What car garage would you have to get a Ferrari in there? How many? 6, 10, 8?
It would be it would be an older one, a 250 short wheelbase,
Oh, okay.
and the
Yeah,
and the
that's my
SL
favorite
kind
too.
of
Oh,
go.
boy.
Okay.
Those
Oh, wow.
alternate. Some
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
What about you, Zuck? What do you got? 4 cars. You got a 4-car garage. What do you put in there?
Wow,
Money
never
is
thought
unlimited.
about this.
Yeah.
Money-
But keep it reasonable.
Okay, but no,
Keep it
I
a
like-
little reasonable.
You got a '58 Speedster.
Okay.
You've got
Agreed.
You've got a 911. You've
your
got a
daily?
300. Yeah,
An
you've
early 911 or a new 911?
Well, let's
one
just
of
stick with
each, right?
911. But
Well, no. You've got to be specific. You've only got 4 spots.
Okay, so shit.
How about this? How about an old 911, a new GT3, and then you've got one more to
a
play
58
It's
Speedster?
a hard game.
Well,
with. And a 58 Speedster.
I'll tell you
that's
what.
one of them.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the 5 cars, and then I'll think about it. 300 SL and a nice 4-door earlier M5.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. You know what I would do today? I would do a Jeep Gladiator. I would do this
So
black
weird.
GTO. Well, I'd want to have a different kind of year. So I would do this black GTO, a brand new Jeep Gladiator with some motorcycles on the back, right? And every little trick and toy I can put on that thing. And then I would do 58 Speedster. And then I guess GT3 or
See?
old 911.
You need 5.
I'd go with the GT2 RS.
I was
I'd
gonna
throw
say,
that
you almost
car
have
right
to.
in.
It
Yeah.
seems.
And
It's-
then
it's-
I would have a perfect little
It would be
grouping.
so much easier if it was 5-car garage. 4-car really is the challenge, Tommy.
Yeah.
But that's a nice little block.
I love
of
playing
cars,
that
right?
at when you're at an event with people who don't know, at a big table, a charity event
Right.
or something. And it doesn't even have to be car people, but you go around the table and this person wants to change theirs because they're like, oh, I thought about it.
Right.
It's a fun game.
Oh yeah, it's really what 100 cards would you put in a garage?
Yeah, and people that have a lot of cars, it's really hard.
Oh, I
remember I had to do it. I think someone asked me to write my top 50 Porsches of all time, and that was hard to do. And it was 50 cars.
50,
it had to be.
You could get in trouble and say, which two ex-girlfriends do you miss the most?
Or
ex-boyfriends. That would make people really
uncomfortable. Why
uncomfortable.
would you throw that hand grenade into a broadcast
Just
with 3 married men?
Just to
What's wrong
because,
with you?
No, I'm saying if he doesn't know people and he wants to throw a hand grenade into a dinner table, 10 people, 20 people.
He's just recovered. He's just got his marriage back together after the chicken car incident with the neighbors, and now you want him to talk about his old girlfriends.
Oh, yeah. You said
You're an anarchist, Zuckerman. All right, do you guys think this is a good question, and then maybe we'll wrap this up. We're running out of time. And again, happy holidays to all of you. Do you think AC by Classic Retrofit for a G-Body Porsche will be a good return on improvement and investment on this 911? Zuckerman,
No.
I know what I would say. I agree with Zuckerman on that one. What do you think, Tommy?
Return on investment, no. But
yeah.
for something that you're going to help
But again,
increase your enjoyment?
You could buy one with air conditioning, but doesn't work well. But yeah, I don't think it's as an investment.
Don't we generally repair these things to the best of our ability and take what we get after it, right? And we just did ours,
and we got it working good.
And it took two tries. The dealership didn't get it right, and then your guys at Euro Spares or wherever it is. What are they called?
It's Superformance.
Superformance. Those guys. How did they do it, and the dealership didn't do it?
And Will Hoyt got it right on that 83 SC. Works really good.
Yeah, that car's great. Well, anyways, speaking of Will Hoyt, next Wednesday we will have John Will Hoyt, the real Zuckerman, and myself out at Bill's talking about Will Hoyt modifications and his shop and his secrets and why the folks from the Porsche factory come to him to learn how to restore these cars. It's going to be a great show. Tommy, it was good to see you out in Malibu last week, and happy to get you back in the studio here so quickly after that.
That was fun. Thanks for having me.
He's a regular. We're going to put him on the regular list.
Yeah, you're on the regular list now because the fans just want these types of shows. They don't want the guest, the long guest interview.
They might need to bring El Gallo, the chicken car, out to Malibu and do a ride before the next show.
Let's do that.
Yes.
No, look, I've been dying to go for a ride in that car.
Anybody got the gate code to the colony? Can we get another colony? Okay,
we can do that for sure.
Okay.
Did you ever? There was a guy that used to walk along Sunset Boulevard dressed as a chicken holding an egg.
No,
Did you ever see him?
No.
Yeah.
It's a good egg.
Yeah, the egg was really a nice touch.
And this has been another holiday episode of Spike's Car Radio.
Thanks for listening to Spike's Car Radio. Download new episodes every Wednesday on the Podcast One app or subscribe now at Apple Podcasts or PodcastOne.com.
If you own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles and have an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all, listen up. CarShield has a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that covers more parts than ever. Visit carshield.com/audio to find out how you could pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Get your free quote today at carshield.com/audio. That's carshield.com/audio.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.